If somebody's listening to this, they're listening to it for a reason.
When the student is ready, the teachers appear.
Are you always like this?
I needed to wake up the right side of my brain. That means creativity, presence, mindfulness.
Professional, fine art, Cheri.
One day I was watching YouTube as we do, and I saw this woman painting on large canvases. That just clicked in me.
Building out an email list, a newsletter.
Instagram could go away tonight.
Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Keener podcast. This episode was just beautiful. Super inspiring talk with Cheri, who is a professional abstract artist. And I mean professional, like she's legit. Go check out her website. I'll leave it linked below in the show notes or whatever. Really blown away and shocked to see the quality of Cheri's art and her paintings. Really amazing human, incredible story. She used to be in the army as a nurse, and then some things happened. She got injured, and then she found painting. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I just left the gym. It's walking distance, so sometimes I like to run there and run back, and I did legs today, so I'm sure it'll kind of catch my voice, but I'm gonna shut up. You guys watch the podcast episode, and I hope everybody has a great day, a great weekend, and a strong rest of the year. Peace.
Cheri, we are here, Kicking It with Keener podcast. I know the first time we had to reschedule, so thank you for your understanding and coming back for the second try.
Of course, I'm so excited to be here. Love these conversations.
Let's, just because we're here, what is all that stuff you got going on in the background?
This is my studio. My studio. So I'm an abstract painter, and it's a messy church.
Are you married or in a relationship?
I am married. We've been married 24 years, and we have 2 sons. I actually have a son named Noah.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. And they are 21 and 19. So
Nice.
and we
I
live
was
in
asking,
Oregon. Yeah.
in Oregon?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
My sister's brother-in-law, he actually not recently, but he used to live out there. And just this weekend, we were talking about Oregon and how beautiful the state is.
It really is. It really is beautiful. We love it here.
As much as I love doing these podcasts virtually, I much rather sit down and talk to somebody one-on-one in person. I can look at them, I can feel the energy that they're giving off, and it's just a better vibe. So if you know anybody that would be interested or that would be a good guest for the podcast show, please get us in contact, put us together, or just relay them my information. I would love to sit down and talk to them. And with that, I will continue to do my best to improve my podcasting skills and my interviewing skills to one day bring on bigger guests that you would love to see me collab with.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I was asking because what does he think of your office studio space? Is it like, did you just stay out of there?
No, he loves it. And when we get into my story, you'll understand why. This actually used to be his office. He's a pharmaceutical rep, so he does a lot of work at home. And this was his office, and he gave it up for me to be able to have a studio where I can paint. And so he's all for it. He loves it. He comes in here and hangs out with me when I paint, and it's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I could say the same because I have just a small room, and it's like my video editing / podcast space.
Yeah.
And my wife will come in and she'll rearrange the whole room just the way she like. And I'm like, I had this set up perfectly for a reason. Just don't touch my stuff.
You're like, it's my organized chaos. I know where everything's at.
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't touch anything in here. He doesn't even he's not allowed to give comments or critiques while I'm painting either.
Oh, see,
Used to
I
be
need to
like,
take some notes.
well, babe, I think that maybe I'm like, nope. You can say something after it's finished, but not while I'm painting.
Yeah, not during the creation process. How long have you been painting, and how did you kind of get started into it? Because I know in school, everybody starts off painting, but you see some people take it a little bit further than others.
Yeah. Well, I was not that kid in school. I did not like art. I did not like anything creative. I was never crafty. My kids Like if they had art school projects or, art projects from school, I was like, ooh, I was a nurse for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
So in the beginning of my career, I was in the Air Force. And so I was an Air Force critical care flight nurse. And I served during 9/11 and was deployed to Afghanistan. And so did
Wow.
see some time there. But when I got back and John and I were married, I just didn't want to have the risk of deployment with having children. It was just, I've seen so many of my friends have to go through that and it was so difficult. So we decided that I would separate from the military after 6 years. And so I did and served 2 years of reserve duty. And then even after that, I gave up my commission so that I could just not be at risk ever of being recalled. So we were in California when I separated from the military, and we decided to move up here to Portland, Oregon, because that's where my husband's family lives, and he is from a big fat Greek family, and we wanted to be around family as we raised our children. So I found a nursing job here, and I was kind of burnt out of the ICU flight nurse scene, that high adrenaline. I was kind of getting a little
Yeah.
out of that. And so I found myself in hospice work here. And that was unexpected, but amazing. So I did about 15 years of hospice. Got my master's degree in nursing leadership and became a hospice nurse manager. And that was another unexpected turn in my career because I got to take care of the people that cared for our patients. And that was very special to me. And I don't know. I learned a lot and I was very humbled by how amazing those nurses were. So I did that. And in 2019, I suffered 2 brain injuries 6 months apart. And so after those brain injuries, I had to retire my nursing license. I couldn't safely go back and practice nursing. So at the 25-year mark, I retired my license and was thrown into the world of brain injury, which was horrible. Like being a nurse, I would, I thought, oh, I get it. But being on the other side of that bed is, you don't know until you know, right? And so I had to begin my recovery process, and it's still recovering, but the majority, I'm 6 years out now, and I would say my big turn happened probably last year when I started feeling like I could do more. So it was a long, arduous process. I lost myself. I mean, I was a confident nurse, a mom that was involved in everything, and kind of multitasker, and it all fell away that day. And so, yeah, it was rough.
That's
It was rough. Fell into
well,
depression, anxiety. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what to be anymore. I lost myself. And so often I say I had to mourn and grieve my own death while still being alive. Like I had to figure that.
that's heavy.
It is. It is.
That's heavy.
And it didn't just happen to me. It happened to my family, and so I have an amazing family. Thank God. I have an amazing, my husband would stop at nothing to make sure I had the best care and the best doctors. And my sons, I couldn't walk right. I couldn't talk right. When we would travel or go anywhere that involved any walking, they were pushing me in a wheelchair. And it was this whole role reversal that I hated because I was so independent and strong. And so it was hard. It was really hard, but the doctors were telling me that the left side of my brain was injured. So I needed to wake up the right side of my brain and fire that up. And I didn't know what that meant. I said, well, what does that look like? And they said, well, that means creativity, presence, mindfulness. I was like, oh my God, I'm in so much trouble. I don't know anything about that. I'm so left brain. I'm so analytical. I'm so sciencey, so type A. And so that I said, well, okay, where do I start? And one doctor said, just get like a coloring book for adults and just start coloring. So I did that and I hated hated every minute. Could, and I literally think now looking back, it's because I was coloring inside the lines.
I was just about to say that. Looking at your photos, look like you're good staying in the lines
No,
kind of coloring.
no. And so I literally ripped up the coloring book and just threw it. I was like, this can't be my life. Like there's got to be other ways that I can tap into some creativity. And, one day I was watching YouTube as we do, and I saw this woman painting on large canvases, and she was painting abstract. And that just clicked in me. Like something in me was like, that makes so much sense to me. I don't know why, but it was like she was painting her feelings. And that made sense to me. She wasn't painting a landscape. She wasn't painting a portrait. She was just painting her feelings. And so I thought that's what I want to do, because I've got some feelings. And so I got a big piece of cardboard and my kids' tempera paints from school. And I just started slinging paint, and it felt really good. Like my body just was like, yes, this is what we need to be doing right now. And so I just kept doing it. And my husband just started to see this spark coming back. He said, Cheri, when you paint, it's almost like you don't have a brain injury. And so I said, well, then that's where I need to be, because this brain injury is about to kill me. Like these deficits, just cognitively, most of all, because, I was a quick thinker, and the brain injury caused a lot of cognitive deficits. And so I just was slow at thinking, slow at word finding. And so painting, I didn't have to talk. I didn't have to think. I could sit there and sling paint, whatever I wanted. And of course, I was horrible at it. I didn't know what I was doing, but it felt good. And so I just started watching more YouTubes. And I started doing that for a few, like about a year and a half, 2 years. And then my friends and family started noticing, hey, you're getting better at this. Like, this is good. Like, you're getting good. And so I thought, well, this is my therapy. And so it didn't need to look good. It just needed to help me, continue to help me.
Right.
And the brain injury doctors coincidentally were testing my brain. They're like, what are you doing? Because you're getting better. And I said, I'm painting. And he's like, keep doing it. Because painting on large surfaces, like these big canvases, was actually rehabbing my brain and my movement disorders. And so it was just all right. And I didn't know why. I didn't know how, but it just was. And so I trusted it. And so we started thinking, my husband and I are like, maybe you should start a business or something. And I thought, no, business. I've never ran a business in my life. I don't even know anything about businesses. So those limiting beliefs kept me, just in my little studio for a while. But then my dad, he got involved, and he's like, they live in the neighborhood, my mom and dad. And he's like, Cheri, we need to get you like professional. Like we need to get you, painting more and painting bigger. What do you need? I said, well, I do need help just kind of getting my studio where I want it. So he came over and he hung this huge pegboard easel. He hung lights. He did it all. And there's a reason I'm telling you about my dad is it was in September 2023 when he did this in my studio. We spent a whole week just doing my studio, and we had so much fun. And then that Saturday, he and my mom left on an RV trip. They go RVing, and he loves to fish. He loves to fish. So they went up to the Washington coast, and they were RVing, and we were texting back and forth about like business logo ideas and what should I call it? Should I call it Carandanis Fine Art? Is it fine art? Maybe it's really bad art. I don't know. So we were texting back and forth, and so Sunday night I texted him a logo and he hearted it. Monday morning he went out to fish, and this is where the story takes a turn, and a tragic turn. He was killed on Monday by a sneaker wave while he was fishing. And so God. My mom was at the RV, and we went back out to see where he was fishing at the spot, and she saw his bag, his, the pole, and no dad, and she didn't know what happened. So long story short, the Coast Guard, everybody was involved trying to recover him. They sent the helicopters out in the boats, and they didn't recover his body. And so I was called, obviously, and I was trying to make my way back to see my mom and to be with her. Because I would thought there's no way he's dead. Like, he's probably just injured somewhere waiting for us, to find him. Anyways, when we get there, my mom just feels this something in her heart. She just is like, Dad's telling me he's coming back to me. So she runs to the beach. I hadn't arrived yet. So she runs to the beach, and there was a police officer chaplain with her, waiting with her until I could get there. And she runs down to the beach, and she sees my dad in the water. And she's freaking out, like, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive. And she tries to go in the water. She can't swim. So the chaplain pulls her out of the water and says, Jeannie, it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. I will go in and get him. And so he goes in the water. When my mom gets back onto the beach and can see where my dad is, she realizes that my dad's not alive. 2 sea lions had him, and they were swimming him back to the beach and just pushed his body into the surf right to her. And I know it sounds nuts. I know it sounds crazy. But that's how we got my dad back. And at least, because I was bargaining with God on the way there. I was like, Lord, if it's his time to leave us, I think I can eventually accept that. But I have got to say goodbye. I've got to see him one more time. I've just got to hold his hand one more time. I don't know why that was so important to me, because I know people lose people all the time and don't have that opportunity. But I just begged God for that. And so as tragic as it was to lose him, it was eased by this miracle that I feel like God was in this. Like, there was somehow this miracle softened the blow. And so, anyways, my dad passed, and we were able to bury him and give him his full military honors. And then about a month and a half later, I was still in grief, and I just didn't know, up from down. And I just heard in my heart, my dad's like, girl, get off your ass, get going, get this art thing going. And I did. I said, yeah, I can't just sit here. He's gone. And, this is what he would want, is for me to move forward. And so I started Carandanis Fine Art, and I haven't looked back, and it's been a ride. So now I'm a professional artist full time.
Yeah.
Would have never said that that's how my life would be. But here I am. And so that's why the studio, and that's why, taking over my husband's office.
Wow. Yeah, that definitely took a turn. Obviously I'm sorry for your loss and everything. I can't even imagine, especially the process of you guys going back and forth about the design and the logo.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Can't even imagine. But you did say some interesting things before that I kind of want to unpack a little bit before we get into more of your professional. Now I'm speaking with a professional artist. That's how I should have did it. Professional fine art, Cheri. Give you a wonderful intro. When you were serving in the military, and you mentioned during the 9/11, were you like on the East Coast that time, like in the New York area, or were you still in California?
I was stationed at the time in California. And so when 9/11 happened, obviously, so during peacetime in the States, I was a ICU nurse in military hospitals. And so I was in the ICU at Travis Air Force Base. And when 9/11 happened, I had training to be a critical care flight nurse. And those teams are called CCAT teams, critical care air transport. And so the team consisted of a doctor, like an intensivist doctor, a critical care nurse, and a respiratory therapist. And we were geared up, and we had the capability of setting up mini ICUs in any opportune aircraft that was available to us. And so we were trained for that. Those teams had not seen wartime situations because they were so new. But then when September 11th happened, there weren't a lot of us, so we got activated. So that's what I was deployed as, was a CCAT nurse. And so it was amazing to see how we could bring this high level of care, an ICU level type of care, closer to the front lines. So it saved lives, and it was the honor of my life to take care of our troops like that and try to get them home.
Wow. So you guys packed up from California and flew over there. And in my head, obviously, I'm not an ICU nurse or in that field, but it sounds like helicopters coming, they're rushing patients onto the helicopter, and you guys are treating them as you're on the way to a hospital or something.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Or
So you probably,
sometimes the special ops guys would stabilize them out in the field, like on the front lines, and then bring them by helicopter to a MASH unit, which is where we were, maybe in Uzbekistan or in Afghanistan. And a MASH unit is kind of like a tent hospital, like a makeshift hospital. And we would stabilize them further there. And then we could get on like a cargo plane or something and take them to like Germany or Turkey for a hospital level care. And then from there, they would be cared for until they could get home.
wow.
Yeah. When I talk about it, it sounds like, was that my life?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. Seeing you in this artsy like space, I'm just picturing you like in the middle of chaos. Bring that, grab that, go, go, go.
Exactly.
And that's how it was.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was crazy. It was crazy. And, just the logistics of being there. Like I remember landing in Afghanistan, and it was winter, and because we had been staged in Turkey for a while and then Uzbekistan for a while. And then when we got to Afghanistan, it was cold, and we show up, and Air Force, we're like, where's our hotel? And they're like, did you not bring your own tent? And we're like, no, we're medical people. So just trying to figure out the logistics of where do we live? Where do we stage until we're activated? It was nuts. It was nuts.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. But I'm sure you had some good memories and some good stories to tell out of that too.
Well,
And
the
I'm sure you
bonding that
helped
happened.
plenty of people.
Yeah, the team was amazing. Just watching how our military, it's just this machine, that just runs seamlessly. It's really amazing to be a part of that. A lot of time that we were there, we didn't have access to any news or anything, so we didn't really know what was going on politically or in the war. We were just there under orders, and so we just followed orders. But getting to know people out there in the field was really amazing, and just the patriotism of being in the United States military and meeting other military, because we did a lot with the British troops and the Spanish troops. And then we also did some humanitarian things for the Afghani women and children. And so that was really cool to get to work with them. When in our downtime, we would just provide some basic care for them.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And the way my brain works, I'm probably ADHD or something, but you mentioned Uzbekistan. I recently watched a video because me and my wife, we like to travel, and we're thinking about going out to some countries that people don't really, they don't get a lot of attention in the media and stuff. Yeah. And Uzbekistan came up as one of like the most beautiful countries out there. Would you say the same? What's your opinion on Uzbekistan?
We were only in this base called K2, and we didn't go outside of that. I do remember the mountainous landscape. It was beautiful, but the area we were in was very war torn from when Russia was there. So it wasn't, it was just very barren, a lot of bombed out tanks and airplanes. It was very much a war, stricken area in Uzbekistan. But I do remember the landscape being spectacular. Same with Afghanistan. It was so beautiful. So beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's probably why it's so cheap for Americans to go there. It was like one of the cheap places to go visit, and it's probably because
so cool if you just go to some random place like that, because I love traveling like that too. Just
But I'd be scared to go somewhere like out there in the, what do I call it, in the stands, Like Afghanistan's, Uzbekistan's,
Stands.
Pakistan's, the stands. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. I mean, some parts of the world are still so, it's not safe for
Yeah,
Americans or for anyone to travel. But I hope one day that changes because
yeah,
there's so many beautiful places and the people are so beautiful. Yeah.
right. And it's crazy to hear that. I don't know when Russia invaded them, but I'm sure it was a while ago that the country is still worn torn and hasn't came back from that.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's,
mean, it's like it looked like a graveyard because it was so long ago, but it just not really cleaned up or it is just left that way. And it might have been just because we were on a base, it might have
uh,
been just that. But it was surprising to see such old tanks and old planes just laying there.
yeah, that's weird. 'Cause if you picture that here in America, like
Yeah,
that
these
wouldn't
get
fly.
cleaned up within 24 hours.
The closest thing we have to that is probably Detroit, Michigan, where like when everybody left out. I heard a guy recently saying that there's still abandoned factories and
Wow.
rundown neighborhoods and
Wow.
just emptiness.
Yeah. Just kind of a ghost town, like just left.
Right. Which is like, I feel like my opinion on all this is like, I know it's different countries and people have their own um, the way of looking at things, but I feel like something like that happens. Like people should just come together and just rebuild, just help out.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
sad.
Because the people of that region, I mean, think about being war torn. You're so traumatized from that. You don't have the bandwidth to rebuild, and that's why you need the other countries to come in
Right.
and help, you know. But maybe it's just been one thing after the other, in our world. And there's all these wars and fires, everywhere just popping up.
I know. And then they just had that flood in Texas. I don't
Yeah.
know if you've heard about that one. That is, oh my
Heartbreaking.
God.
Yeah. Life is so fragile, you know? Life is so fragile. And that's why if we can find the beauty in it. I have this quote that I live by, and it's by Dostoevsky, and he says that beauty will save the world. And
Mm,
I really believe that because if we could just pay attention to the beauty, and it's literally everywhere, like looking at a house plant, looking, outside in conversation, there's so much beauty around us because sometimes the negativity can really just take a toll. And the energy,
yeah,
just the energy in the world can take a toll on us. But there's the balance. But we have to do that work to find that.
right. Yeah. And I agree with all of that too. And as a personal person, I do, it's like you have to like actively search for the beauty like in your everyday life. Cause like you said, the negative is so loud and so much powerful that
Yeah.
if you don't seek out the beauty and the positive, that
Yeah.
it can just overtake you and you
It's
just
true.
go through. I see it all the time. You go through you can just see somebody like in the gym, you can just see him. You just feel the energy and you can just see it like, dang man, like
Yeah.
loosen up a little
I
bit.
know. And our society is so frenetic. Like it's just always on, listening to something, reading something, doing something, it's 24/7. And we don't take time to just let it settle. I'm such a believer in meditation. I mean, obviously I wasn't before. I was a kind
Yeah.
of a doer too, but brain injury taught me that you got to settle your ass down. You've got to let things kind of settle, get to the core of who you are. What do you really want? What are you wanting
Mm,
from this experience on earth? It can't be just this go, go, go. It just can't be.
right.
What is it that your soul wants from this experience? And we don't take the time, we don't teach our children to just be,
Yeah.
just lay out in the grass and look at the sky. Nobody does that. I haven't seen a kid do that ever.
I know. I
I
saw
do
a
it all
kid.
the time.
I used to, I was telling my girls, like, I was the kid, I was playing in the dirt,
Yeah.
came in the house, no shoes. Mom's yelling at you because you're outside with no shoes on and messing around with stuff I shouldn't have been messing around. But I look back and like, I was grounding myself
Yes.
and I was boosting my immune system by just
Yes.
being out there in the dirt.
Yes, I know. My husband and I we love grounding. Like we just big believers in grounding. And, when you start to research grounding a little bit, it's like the advent of the tennis shoe. That's what kind of separated us from the earth, was because everyone started wearing these comfortable tennis shoes. And then, no one just walks around in the grass. Or like, my favorite grounding ever is laying in the ocean. Like the
That's the best.
energy, oh, it's like outstanding. I could just do it for hours, just feeling the energy of the ocean, because it's so big and so powerful.
Yeah.
You literally feel it in your cells. Like,
Right. And if you're not careful, it's so powerful that it will pull you out there to the middle and take control. That's how powerful it is. But
you're
just to talk on that one thing you mentioned was I saw a kid riding his bicycle through the neighborhood the other day. And at first I was confused because you don't really see that anymore.
true.
So I was like, what is this kid doing? And then I saw him again the other day and I was like, he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
He's not inside playing on the games or the iPad. He's just outside by himself, riding his bike
Good
around,
for
no
him.
shoes on.
Oh, I love
And
it. I love
at
it.
first I was taken back, like, what is this kid doing?
Isn't
And
that
then I was like,
weird? Like we
'cause
think
you
that
don't,
that's like outside of normal now. Like, what are they doing?
I know, where's his parents at? He's just out here by himself. Like, it's so weird. But back in the day, like
We were out
that
for
was the normal.
hours. I mean, you're much younger than I am, but we did. We play outside and came in when the streetlights came on. Like that was our curfew.
Yeah. And I do feel it like I mean, Americans, obviously, because it's where we are, but probably everywhere is thanks to the use of technology and social media and high definition video games that it's definitely taken a toll. And I'm curious to see where it's going to be in like 50 years. Like
I don't know.
people are just going to be skinnier and pale and frail because they don't, move their body and walk
Get
and
sun exposure. I mean, the sun
just
is so
vitamin D from the sun.
yeah. Yeah, and we see it now. It's an epidemic with the level of anxiety and depression in our children. Um,
Mm,
an epidemic. I mean, it's almost like you're abnormal if you're not struggling somehow with anxiety or depression.
right.
And that's so sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, it's actually funny you mentioned that because I was watching a podcast the other day and they were mentioned that people were struggling with like anxiety, depression, and the doctors was trying to prescribe them some type of medication to combat it.
Yeah.
And instead they like went around and got some more opinions from different doctors around the country. And one doctor had a more holistic approach and just recommended them to just spend more time in nature, just go hiking through the woods and be outside. And then I think they came back like 6 months later, and I think the depression and anxiety was almost down to zero just from being in the nature.
Yes. It's so powerful and it's right there. The answers are all right here.
Right.
It's just like, I don't know if you know anything about the blue zones around the world. They're called blue zones where people live to over 100.
Yeah, that's like Norway. It's like these.
Greece. There's one in the
Yeah.
United States. It's down in Loma Linda, California.
Mm,
But it's because they live outside, they go outside and they have connections with people. They'll spend hours at a coffee shop with their friends or, go out to dinner and just be outside on the sidewalk cafe. It's a
right.
collective existence where people come together. I was just in Europe a couple months ago, and their cities are built around that concept of people gathering. And so there's
Mm,
that town center where there's coffee shops and restaurants and tons of seating and usually some kind of water. And every night people were out there, the children, the dogs, the people, everyone was out there just being together. And I look at our country and how we're set up, and there's suburbs, everyone's separate. There's no town center anymore. It's like everyone's separate. Everyone has their own grocery store near their house.
well,
The churches aren't even the center anymore. It's like the most beautiful buildings in Europe are usually cathedrals and churches and places of worship. The most beautiful buildings in America are the banks.
Right.
Like the
That sounds
places
so
that
bad. Well, yeah, the way you just said it just sounds so backwards.
it really is. And I mean, I love our country. I do, but I feel like we're just going in the wrong direction as far as connection. I feel like our country's so individualistic, like looking out for number one, looking out for myself, meeting my own needs. And when you look at like Asian culture or even in Europe, even though that's a Western culture, there's a collectivism there, like
Mm,
doing the thing that is for the greatest good, for everyone. And so I hope we can get to that at some point. But right now, our infrastructure even is like so separate. With everyone has to have a car. You can't really get the public transit system's not great in most cities. Whereas in Europe, you don't have to have a car. You could just get around with public transit or a bike, or it's very walkable cities, very
hmm
walkable cities, and it's safe. And so yeah, I feel like our country could do some good. Like even in neighborhoods, like I'm looking out in my neighborhood, people drive up to their houses and they drive into their garage and their garage door comes down. You don't even say hi. Like no one sits out on porches anymore. My husband and I do. We sit out on our front porch and we're just like, nobody is out. Nobody's out to say hello or to meet. Hey, you got a new dog. Like, let's say hi.
Right.
Nobody's doing
It's
that. And
so
it's,
sad.
but
Yeah, you don't see people outside anymore.
no, no, and when you do see them, like I was just in New York City last weekend, and I was looking around, and everybody is on their phone.
Mm,
Everybody is walking in the city on their phone, and I thought, wow, we're not even looking up and seeing who's walking by, and I don't know, it's not good. It's not good. I'm not saying that technology is all bad because Lord knows I use it. But it's taking away our connection from one another. And to really, like I love that you're having this podcast and that you're connecting with people that you don't even know. We didn't know each other and here we are having this amazing conversation. It's so good for our souls, our bodies, our minds, to do these kind of things. And I just don't see people doing that. And, I talk to friends and they're like, oh my gosh, you're doing a podcast. Like, do you know what you're going to talk about? I'm like, no, you just go on and share and talk and hear each other's stories. And they're like, I could never, I could never. And I thought, that's what's wrong. That's what's wrong.
you're so right.
We can't just be with someone else and share, because I think
Right.
that's where the magic is in life.
Wow. That was very well said. That was,
I believe it. I
I,
believe.
I, yeah, I could feel it, and I believe it too, and I agree, and yeah, dang, that's powerful stuff too, Cheri.
Well, and that's what the art is all about. It's not about the physical paintings. It's about someone looking at it and connecting somehow and feeling pain, feeling anger, feeling healing, feeling hope.
Mm,
That's what that's about. For me, it's not about painting something pretty for someone's space. It has nothing to do with that. For me, it's, I still paint my feelings and I know I'm human and I'm not different from any other human. And we all have those feelings. And so I just hope that my art can just give someone pause and say, gosh, I feel some anger in there, or I see this, or I see that. And when someone tells me that they, respond to a painting, that's everything to me. Like that's everything, because that connects me to their humanity. And that's
wow.
that's what we need to do. That's what we need.
Yeah. When you got started with the art, um, there's like a term or like a way of looking at it. They say if you have a passion and turn it into a business, then it then becomes a job. Did you feel like going through that process of probably making some money off of it and turning it into a business? Does it feel less as like passionate to you or less as a hobby and more as a job?
There is that risk of that, and I do face that because sometimes, I'll look around and see, oh, what's selling? And often it's not
Uh-huh.
abstract art. It might be portraiture, or it might be landscapes, or it might be real minimalism, that kind of art. And so then I'll feel like, well, maybe I should try some of that. And so what I've had to learn is to stay true to myself and to only create art that is authentically from inside of me. And so I have to protect that. I have to really work hard to protect that and to believe and trust that the people that will connect with my art are out there. They are, because why would I be making it? Why would I be creating it? Because it's not me. Like when I approach a blank canvas, I don't have an idea of what it's going to look like. I have no idea how it's going to turn out. I'm in front of a blank canvas. My process is I come into my studio, I light my Palo Santo. That somehow wakes something up in my brain like it's time to create.
That's a real thing too.
Yeah. So I light my Palo Santo, I put on some music, and I sit and I meditate for at least 15 minutes just to calm me down, just arrive here, like just be here, be in my body, be in my room. And then I'll just look around and I'll let colors jump out to me, like what color do I want to use? What tools do I want to use? And then I just get after it on the canvas. And my paintings are layers and layers and layers. So sometimes 10, 15 layers on a painting. But that's the process. And that's just me being honest without thinking. Like, is this pretty? Is this attractive to someone? Will someone buy this? If those thoughts start coming in, it's over. It will look like a piece of crap. It won't be anything that I'm proud of. So it is work for me to consciously stay honest with myself and know that it doesn't matter if everyone thinks it's beautiful or if people like it. It's the right person that's gonna connect to it. And so that takes patience. But I really do believe it's out there because it's like I said, it's not, I'm just the vessel. I am not the spirit behind all this, like God just downloads things into us. The divine just comes through us, and we just have to be willing to get the output out there. And so these paintings are just outputs of the divine that I'm allowing. It's not me. Like, yes, it's me putting the paint to the canvas, but it's me being open. And I think because of that, and I believe that, then it's for someone. It's for someone. It's not only for me, because painting for me is healing. Creativity for me is healing. But the actual painting, the object, is for someone out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Because if I were to be a painter, just the way in my current lifestyle, I would walk into my studio and I would look around and be like, my first thought would be like, what can I make that somebody will buy? I guess for you, it might be a little different because you've had one or two successful careers prior to getting started.
Right.
But somebody just starting out, if they wanted to turn it into a business, they could easily fall into that trap of, I have to make what somebody else is willing to pay for.
Yes. Yes. And
So you're
that's a
kind
real
of,
thing. I mean, that's a
yeah.
real thing, because all of this costs money, right? To make, like paint and supplies, and me not working a job that gets paid per hour. Like I could, I guess, do that, but making money from your creativity is a real thing. But I also think that that's where the hustle comes in, because I didn't know anything about business. I didn't know anything about social media. Like, I was like a Facebook mom, like just checking up on other moms. Like I didn't know anything about all the other platforms. And so I had to find people to teach me. I had to find a mentor that was very successful in the art business. And so she now mentors me. And does that cost money? Yes, but it's an investment, because now I'm learning about social media. I'm learning how to get engagement up on myself. I'm learning about the analytics. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't even know it existed. But having a mentor is huge. It is huge. And then with that mentor comes a community of other artists that I can kind of bounce things off of and know that we're all struggling. Art is not something that people just, are just raking in the dough. Creativity is often, something that takes patience to make some money off of.
Yeah.
But I am I am privileged in that my husband provides a living for us. But I do have really good friends where it's them and they need to bring money for themselves. You know, that they don't have anyone else to lean on.
Uh-huh.
And so that battle to not just produce for money, because it's just an empty thing. If you're just doing it like, what can I create to bring in money? Because it loses its soul. And if you stay honest with your soul and with what you're here to produce, it will come. You know, I don't know if you've ever heard of mind movies. Have you ever heard of mind movies?
I haven't.
Okay. So a mind movie, I learned about it about 6 months ago. And you go on Canva and you just create a movie, like just video clips, one after the other.
Okay.
You put a background track on it, whatever. But you create a movie that's like 5 minutes long on what you want in your life, your goals, and how you want to
Oh.
feel when those goals happen. So that's the whole thing, is like, how do you want to feel when I reach this many followers, or when I reach this many email, people on my list, when I reach, when I sell my first $10,000 painting, how do I want to feel? And so you create this movie, it's 5 minutes long, and every morning you watch it. And it's literally 5 minutes, and it's like you're imagining your life being what you're dreaming of. The crazy thing is I started that in January, and a lot of it was travel for me, because with the brain injury and then having kids before that, you just get into your routine of not traveling because it's expensive, time. You don't want to drag kids around the world because that's pain. They don't appreciate it. So I was like, gosh, I want to travel again. I just really want to travel. And I had just gotten back from Paris with my son and my mom in December. And so I was like, okay, that was amazing. I want to do more of that. But I didn't really have any plans to do any traveling this year. No, this is crazy. I started the Mind movie and I watched it, and I just felt like the freedom that traveling would bring, just that freedom of seeing the world, meeting people, seeing things I've never seen, experiencing foods and smells and sights. So at the end of February, we find out that my husband wins this trip through his work to Cannes, France, south of France. So the French Riviera. And it is a bougie, decked out, like they did it all. We felt like rock stars on that trip.
Wow.
So we go there, and then we decided, okay, we're in Europe. Let's go to Greece. Because I've never been to Greece. I'm married to a Greek man for 24 years. I earned my trip to Greece. So we went to Greece and we went to Crete for a week. So totally unexpected trip, but amazing. Come back from that. 10 days after that, I am going to Austin, Texas to meet my mentor. And that was unexpected. I didn't know that I was going to be doing that. And so I spent an amazing 5 days with like 3 other artists and my mentor. Come back. 10 days after that, I am on a trip to, where did we go? Oh, the Caribbean. We take this random trip to the Caribbean to go on a cruise with another family. And so that was amazing. Like, we were like, okay, let's just do this. Because we were supposed to go to Italy together, but this year Italy was crazy with the Jubilee going on and the death of the Pope, and it's just kind of crazy. So we're like, let's not do that this year. So the Caribbean came up, and that was crazy. And then I went to Huntsville, Alabama for graduation. My niece graduated. And then at the end of that trip, my brother invites me to go to Hawaii with them the following Sunday.
Oh my God.
And he's like, Cheri, all you have to do is pay for your ticket. Everything's paid for. Because I'm like, dude, I've been traveling a lot. I can't be.
I just got back from Greece.
I just got back from Greece. And he's like, no, literally just use your points and get to Hawaii. Everything else is covered. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I meet him, his daughter and his wife. Had the best time. I'd never been to Hawaii. Like, I had the best time in Hawaii. So then I come back from that, and then last weekend, I literally bought the ticket Thursday night, and Friday morning we flew out to New York City because my son and he's the editor of the paper at his university, and his editorial staff wanted to go on this trip, and one of them had to drop out, and so they asked me if I want to go. I'm like, I'm a mom. Like, you guys are 20-something. You guys are wanting to hit the raves. You're going to want to go party. Like, you don't. And they're like, no, come on, come. And so I got to spend like 5 days in New York City with 20-somethings, which I never thought I would do. That was
with 20-somethings.
It was amazing. And they're all creative. So it was so fun to just hit the museums together and all the restaurants. And we just walked our butts off in New York City. And so I just got back like 2 days ago.
Wow.
And that doesn't end because in 2 weeks, my husband and I are leaving for Australia. Last minute, my brother's like, hey, I have a job in Australia. If you can just get there, everything's covered. What?
That's awesome.
You need to make a mind movie, Noah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's kind of like you're creating your own luck, or you're putting into the universe what you want to experience for yourself, almost like you're speaking it into existence.
Yes. You know, I just feel like God loves us so much. We don't believe it. We don't believe how much we are loved by God. He wants us to enjoy our time here, but we don't ask because we judge ourselves. Like, people are talking about a God that's judging. We judge ourselves. Like, he's like, dude, tell me, what do you want? Tell me. He knows what we want, right?
Right.
We have to say it. We have to say, I believe this can happen. I don't know how, because if you would have asked me in January if I would have gone on, I say, no, we can't afford it. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. Brain injury is a real thing. Like, how am I going to negotiate all those different cities? But it happens if you just believe and not worry about the details of it, just believing like, and I know that sounds woo, and people are like, oh, it's easy for you to just believe it and it's going to happen. But that's what's happening. That is what's happening. And I would rather live this way than the way I used to live before brain injury any day. Like, to be able to now say, if I had to do it over again, I would take brain injury. Wow. And that's saying something because I went through 5 years of hell. But coming out the other end, now emerging from the other end, life is so good. Even with brain injury, even with loss, even with death, even with trauma, life is beautiful, and we just need to do the work. And it's not a lot of work. It's just intentional work, intentional work of finding out from inside, what do I want in my life? How do I want it to look? And how do I want to feel in my life? That's more important, because in my mind movie, I didn't put a certain car I wanted, even though that wouldn't be anything wrong if you wanted a certain car or a certain house. I put in what I wanted to feel. And I wanted to feel loved. I wanted to feel seen. I wanted to feel free. I wanted to feel healed. And so those are the kind of things I put in my mind movie. And I am feeling all of those things through these experiences. So it's powerful. It's really powerful.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to create myself a mind movie. And anybody listening, if you want to have some of this good vibes come your way, just make a mind movie. And she said Canva. Once you said Canva, I was like, where are you going with this? Because I make videos. That's like my thing. I was like, Canva. So that's just how easy and how simple. It's not about how good the video is and the quality.
Nobody's going to see it except you. Yeah.
You still watch it every day?
I didn't know anything about Canva. I didn't know anything. I was like, what's Canva? And I go in there, I'm like, oh my goodness, there is a lot on Canva that you can do.
Yeah, there's a lot of creativity you can do on Canva.
Yes.
Are you still watching the Mind movie every day?
I stopped watching it probably a month ago because I need a new one. I need to make a new one.
Wow.
Yeah, I need to
check them all off.
Yeah, those are all, because in there I wanted to be in an exhibit. I was exhibited twice. In there, I wanted to win an award for my art. And 3 weeks ago, I won an award for the best body of work. I also, in there, I said I wanted to be interviewed And now I have like all these podcast interviews that are coming. Like I'm like, you are part of my mind movie, Noah.
Wow, that is awesome. And I believe in that kind of stuff too. I really do.
Yes. Yes. It's real. And I know right now I'm riding the high, I'm riding that wave right now, and the wave comes down, right? But while I'm there, I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm going
Yeah.
to take in the views and take in the experience, because when the wave falls, I will have all that energy to carry me through until the next. That's what we need, is to build up good memories and good feelings and positivity, so that when the hard times come, because they will, we'll have that to go off of, we'll have some reserve until the next wave. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they say. Once you build the momentum up, it's the hardest thing is building the momentum back up. So you just want to keep riding that as
And
long
when I
as
look
possible.
back on my life, it was the pain that brought me the most freedom and beauty. I had to suffer pain. I had to go through really hard things to be able to experience the beauty that I experience now in my life. Because I could have gone on ho-hum, I guess, if God allowed that, just being a nurse and raising my family. And, I have a beautiful marriage. Those are great things. Those are all amazing things. But I knew inside I wanted more, but I did not know what I'd have to go through to get more. Because I think it would scare us if we knew what we'd have to go through. So I'm glad
If you woke up and God was like, Cheri, I want to make the perfect life for you. You're going to get everything you want. You're going to be seen and heard and loved. But it's going to be 5 years
I'm going to
of
jack
just,
up your brain.
it's like, dude, would you still pick that, you think? If you heard it and then you saw it written out.
No, because I was so tied to my ego. Like that was my value. That was who I was in this world. Like what I was able to do and be, that was where my value was tied. Now I know none of that matters. None of what I can do for others, my abilities don't matter. What matters is, can I love you, Noah, right here in this moment and give you everything I've got? Yes, I can. That's what matters. Not what I can do or what I can give to someone or what I can be for someone. It's just being able to be in the moment, see who's in front of you, because right now you're the most important person in my life. Is because I'm connecting with you right now. And if we can just live moment to moment like that, man, your life gets full. It gets full, because I'm not thinking about what I have to do later or what I didn't do yesterday. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Just being in the moment, or thinking about what so-and-so is doing over there. And it's like, oh, are they getting ahead of me? And I gotta go. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's so hard, because it is all around us, especially with social media. We're seeing everyone's highlight reel.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
As much as I love doing these podcasts virtually, I much rather sit down and talk to somebody one-on-one in person. I can look at them, I can feel the energy that they're giving off, and it's just a better vibe. So if you know anybody that would be interested or that would be a good guest for the podcast show, please get us in contact, put us together, or just relay them my information. I would love to sit down and talk to them. And with that, I will continue to do my best to improve my podcasting skills and my interviewing skills to one day bring on bigger guests that you would love to see me collab with.
Dang. When you started to get all this like notoriety and success, did you have a feeling of imposter syndrome? Like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I myself struggle. I still a little bit. I used to struggle with it more recent, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, when I took my video creation. It was just out of passion, similar to yours, and then it slowly turned into like a service and a business. And then like people were willing to pay X amount of dollars for just my creative work, and I went through like some serious imposter syndrome. Like to me, it's just work. Like
Right.
you guys view it as like this product, And I don't know how to really put it into words, but the imposter syndrome thing is a real thing.
How did you come out of that? What did you have to tell yourself?
I think I'm still working on it a little bit, but also, um, yeah, I'm not really sure. I think it was just, I think I had a lot of good people to support me and to um, kind of just tell me like, you know, your stuff is good enough. We enjoy it.
Yeah. Some
Just
validation.
kind of reaffirming that it's at a level and a quality where people are willing to pay for it. Like, stop worrying, man. It's okay. Like, and then in the video space, kind of like you mentioned, the social media, you watch it all day long, and I'm in this space because I'm making the videos, and every day it's like somebody's one-upping at somebody else. It's like, dang, it's just a never-ending race to the top.
It's so true.
And you just can't keep up with it. So I just got to a point where I kind of stopped posting on social media on my behalf. Like, I'd help you to help clients and businesses do it, but I stepped back from doing it myself and just try to practice on being more in the moment. And I used to, everything we used to do, I used to, oh, I got to get I want to capture this and make a YouTube video. And it kind of started eating away at me a little bit. And I would say in the last 2 years, I kind of took a step back, and I feel so much more happier.
Yeah, you took that time. You protected yourself from that.
Yeah. But I still do feel a little bit of the imposter syndrome when it comes to like work stuff.
I think as creatives, if we don't feel imposter syndrome, I think there's something wrong. I haven't met a creative that doesn't feel that. Honestly, because it's really not us, right? So that's why we feel imposter syndrome. It's like, where the hell is all this coming from? Because if it was just me and my body responsible for that, no way. There's no way. But we are spiritual beings, you know, just having a physical existence right now. And the imposter syndrome, the problem with it is it goes negative so fast. Like, I'm not good enough, and they're going to figure this out. They're going to figure out that I'm not very good at art, or you're not very good with media, you know? But it goes back to being honest and creating things that are honest, because then that has your fingerprint on it. No one else can do what you do the way you do it. No one can do what I do the way I do it. And so as long as we're being honest with our creation and our creative process, there's nothing fake about that, you know, and no one can say that we're copying someone or we're trying to be someone else, because no one can do what you do. No one. And so I do battle imposter syndrome a lot, especially being new to the scene, because I've only been painting for 5 years, and there's people that have been painting 30, 40, 50 years, you know, and here I am, I'm like, oh, I'm a baby painter, but I have something to say. And so I put my confidence in that, is that, okay, my paintings are going to get better. I am going to learn more and technically get better. But my message is important. And I feel like that's what's more important than the actual, you know, paintings, is the messaging, is that there is hope and that there is joy to be had in the world, and that you can go through hard things, but you don't have to be destroyed by them.
Wow. No, that's great. And even when you were saying that, it came to my mind, like, it used to be like something that would spark the imposter syndrome is like when somebody asks, what do you do for work?
Yeah.
And I can only imagine, like, for you now, it's like, oh, I'm a professional artist.
I laugh every time I say it.
Yeah, and just hearing that come out of your voice, you're like, am I a professional artist? But
People are like, people buy your art. I'm like, you know they do.
yeah, exactly. But when you frame it like how you just mentioned it, I'm doing this for myself, and this is like, no matter what you think of it, to me, this is art, this is professional, and this is what I can create.
Yeah.
I think that's a great mindset to have. And I'm going forward, I'm going to start just having that in my head when I come up with these situations and these thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. Because truly, you're unique to you, you know, and that's how God created all of us, very unique to ourselves. And So many people think I'm not creative. I used to think that. I used to think I'm not creative. That's not my thing, but everybody's creative.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we're made in the image of God, and God is the ultimate creator. He's the ultimate energy source. And so we're creators and we're energy sources. Like we can be that for others. Lord knows I need it from others, to be reminded of, positive things. And you said something important. It was that your community had to
Mm-hmm.
validate you. And I think that's so important. It's sometimes friends and family, they'll be like, no, you're good enough. And you're like, you don't even know what you're talking about because
Right,
you
right.
don't create videos, you don't paint,
Yeah.
you don't even know what you're talking. You're just being nice because you love me. But when you can get around other professionals
Yeah.
and get a community of professionals, and it can be 2 or 3 people that you admire. And if they can say, Noah, seriously, it's good. What you're doing is really good stuff. That's validation. For me, I
Yep.
get that from my artist friends when I'm like, I feel like I have nothing to offer. And they'll say, okay, bring out a painting. Let's look at it. And it just builds my confidence. Like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I just got
Mhm.
tired, you know, or I got impatient because I want a certain thing. So I think it's important to have that community around you that understands and is going through the same journey that you are.
Yeah. And you said it perfectly. It's not the friends and the family, it's the other professionals. Because your parents and your brothers are like, it's great,
I know.
and they probably haven't like my mom doesn't know how to work Instagram and YouTube. So I know she hasn't seen a lot of my stuff, but she'll say, oh, your last video was so great.
You're like, thanks,
I'm like,
mom.
doesn't really help. But when you said the professional thing, it literally made so much sense because I was literally in the same exact situation in North Carolina. I was around professional people and I would always create these videos and I was like, man, there's something else. I'm missing something. And I'd ask them like, yo, what can I do to make this better and more like yours?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, dude, it's great. It's fine.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. I'm
Yeah.
like, really? And they're like, and it happened a few, like, it just kept happening. Like, dude, it's fine. Leave it alone. And
Yes.
like, it almost to the point where they would get annoyed at me because I'd be like, man, how do we make this better? And they're like, dude, just stop.
Yeah. Because if you try
So,
to make it like theirs, then it loses your signature. You
right.
want your signature on that, your style, your vibe. That's what you
Mm,
want. And I think that's what they're seeing. So trust that. Trust that they're telling you that. And then
yeah.
your own ideas will come on how to make it better for your things. Those downloads will start coming because it's just
Right.
through repetition, through practice, that you'll be like, oh, I could add this or I can try this. And then that will just make your signature even bolder on your work.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if anybody's listening to this, that's just a good message to put out and to the universe because you really never know what somebody's going through at some certain day and time. And I'm a believer because the podcast isn't that big right now. So if somebody's listening to this, they're listening to it for a reason. They came to this and they've heard this message from Noah and Cheri at this time, whenever they're listening to it,
Yeah,
for a reason.
that's
So
right.
take that and go run with it,
Yes.
listener.
Yes. Yes. Because is it the Buddhists that believe that when the student is ready, the teachers appear?
Oh.
Isn't that good?
Oh. Damn.
And it's so true. Because I could have
Damn.
heard something a million times, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't. But
Mm.
when I'm ready, when everything's aligned in me to receive something, the teachers just start coming. Whether it's through a podcast, whether it's through just meeting someone on the street, whether it's through listening to a sermon on Sunday, whatever it is, the messages start coming, the teachers start to appear. And so our job is to be a student that's ready. So that's the work we need to do is be like, okay, I need to be ready to receive the things that are going to help me become a better human. And so that's all we have to do. We don't have to figure it all out. We just have to be ready. And those teachers, man, they just start coming. And sometimes you're like, I got it. I got it. Got the message. Next lesson. But if we're
Man.
ready, man. those teachers start. And it's like books, even like a random book will come across. And I'm like, oh, I've heard of that book like a million times, but I never really wanted to read it.
We're
But then
ready.
it'll come one more time. I'm like, there's something about it. Open it up, change my life. Change my life because I was ready. And so that's our job. Be ready. Get ourselves to those places where we can be ready.
You are on fire right now, Cheri. Oh my God, you are on fire. You're so well spoken and like so thoughtful. Were you always like this, or is this like post brain injury that,
People
or is
probably
you,
would have said that I was always a good conversational. Like I love connecting with people. That's something that's always been there. And that's why I think I was a nurse. Because I actually started in college as pre-med. And I just wanted a career where I could connect more. And pre-med, obviously, there are doctors that are great at that. But I wanted to also be able to have space in my life to raise children and to have, be married and raise children. I knew myself that if I became a doctor, that I would be married to medicine. I just knew that about myself. And so nursing was a great fit for me. But in nursing, the connections that I could have with my patients, it was such, I think it developed a lot of emotional intelligence in me, just being able to have conversations with people in the most difficult times of their lives and to really get to the heart of things. Because one thing I hate is small talk. Hate it.
me too.
You hate it too.
Oh my God. And I don't want to get into too many details about it, but I hate it so much that if that's the situation, that I'm just going to remove myself from the conversation, from the atmosphere, because
It's so painful.
and it's
so
draining.
draining. I just can't. I can't. I'll just say, I'll just ask a question that's real, like, tell me what's in your heart right now. And then people are like, what? We're just talking about the weather. I'm like, what are you dreaming of right now?
Yes. Or I'll ask these like deeper questions or questions that I'm really interested in. And you can just tell it's like,
Some people just aren't prepared. They're okay with the small talk, but I just, and it's selfish of me to be like, if we're going to do this, I'm out. Like I can't.
yeah.
You got to tell me something deeper or ask me. I'll tell you whatever. What do you want to know?
Right. But I guess your background being in the nursing field and like that environment,
Yeah.
I'm sure there was times where you have to speak with people that are not like, it's not good news or they're not feeling the best.
That's right.
That you kind of have to not bring the light into it, but just,
Humanity.
continue to treat them like they're a person rather than like another just patient in the
The
hospital.
thing that I probably learned most, I mean, because mostly in the ICU, you're probably dealing with the families a lot because the person's critically ill. But sitting with the dying as a hospice nurse, man, that'll change you. And it tells you what's important because not one patient of mine, and I have sat with some very wealthy patients that have had everything, and we're sitting in their gorgeous home with all their things, and nobody talks about what they did, what they have. The only thing the dying talk about are their relationships and who they loved. That's it. Everything else falls away. They don't care about the cars on their drive. They don't care about their house. They don't care about their accolades in their career. They don't. All they care about is who loved them and who did they love. And it's really sad sometimes when I would sit with the dying and they didn't have anyone because they poured themselves into their careers and they didn't invest in their relationships. And that's just so heartbreaking. And so then as a hospice team, we became that for them.
Yeah.
Human connection. So that is what I learned from the dying and their families. And then the way my dad died so tragically, I didn't have time to say everything I wanted to and, say goodbye to him. Now, after that happened, I live like every time I say goodbye to my husband, it might be my last. Every time I say goodbye to my son just left this morning or this morning or yesterday for Vienna. Like he's backpacking Europe. And I say goodbye to him like it might be our last time, just because we don't know. Like I said, life is
Yeah.
so fragile. So we just love the hell out of people, just love them. And don't be afraid, just don't be afraid. Don't be like, oh, well, it's a little awkward. I'm going to save it for later. No, love them as hard as you can and receive that love from people. Because sometimes we don't receive love from people. We're like, oh, I'm not worthy or, whatever. No, receive it. You're going to need it.
It's hard for me to receive. Like, I don't know why, but it's hard for me to receive. And maybe I'll add this because I think it's valuable. Then you might have some experience too. Is both of my parents were in the military, and they both served over 20 years. And there was a point in time, I think I was like from age 4 to 9, that each year they would go off on a deployment. And like my dad would go off a deployment, my mom would stay home with me and my brothers. He'd get back, my mom has to go to Korea. She gets back, dad is in Afghanistan. So maybe, and I've noticed as I get older, because people, when you get older, you start to understand that life is short, life is fragile, and that people, they want to love you, and you want to love other people. But I do find that it's hard to accept and receive love. And I don't know, maybe that's just from my growing up and my history, but I'm sure a lot of people are feeling the same way.
Well, think about a child at that age having to say goodbye to their parents over and over again with the fear of never seeing them again. You were protecting yourself by not receiving love. You feel like if I feel too deeply here, that could destroy me if they don't come back. That makes a lot of sense to me. That makes a lot of sense to me. And I had to do a lot of work around my child self because I was abused as a child by people, sexually abused. And so I had to go back to that little girl and say, I got you. I see you. And I know you're scared. And I know you don't want to connect. I know you want to just hide away. And I know you want to scream, but that's not what good girls do. Good girls don't scream and carry on. And, I had to go back to her and say, you are not too much. You are not too much. I've got you. Come with me. And when I started to do that work, that's when I came alive because most of my life, my mom's Korean, my dad was Caucasian. And in the Korean community, I was always too big, just too tall, too big, too loud, too much. Too talkative, and then really I wasn't white because I had this Korean side. And so, just being biracial, that's just what comes with it. But after doing some healing work inside and going back to that childhood self and freeing her out of that cage of just protecting herself, she was just protecting herself, and having her come out with me, it's like, got the nose piercing, let my hair go curly, like just being as loud as I want to, laughing loud, being crazy, because that's who I am. That's who I am. I'm not too much. If I'm too much for someone, that's an issue they have to deal with, not my issue, because I'm me. But you telling me about your parents leaving and, having to go on deployments like that, you were protecting yourself because that's scary for a kid.
Right.
It's scary. They did what they had to do, but as a kid, that's scary. And so you feeling like you're not able to receive love is that protection still. You're still protecting yourself. And so now maybe doing some work around trusting that receiving that love will take you next level in your creativity, next level in your life, in your marriage, like next level, because it'll open you up. But it takes work. It's not like, okay, now I'm going to receive love. That it doesn't work like that.
Right.
But when you do that work, you start to have compassion for yourself and say, you know what? I was a little kid that was scared. And sometimes we just put those memories in a box and like, okay, but that was then. Who cares? It doesn't affect me now. It
Right.
certainly does. If you've ever read the book, The Body Keeps the Score,
No, let me write that down. The
It,
body keeps the score.
body keeps the score. It talks about how our cells have memory. And so every experience in our life is carried with us. And so the body keeps the score of our traumas, our hurts, our pains, our letdowns, our disappointments. And if we don't address them, they'll come erupting out at some point in our life. It has to happen. You just can't hold those memories in your body. And that's why in certain situations, like if you get nervous, you'll feel it in a weird spot, like your lower back or somewhere in your shoulder or in your tummy, or, something like that. Because that's where those memories are being stored. And so if you read that book, and if, even just watching, like, I think there's a documentary on it with the author, it's an incredible book about how the body keeps the score. And it really encourages you to do the work to release memories and traumas, because until they're released, they can't serve us. And our memories and our traumas are there to serve us too. It creates who you are today. It makes you who you are today. And I know I wanted to box away my traumas, but it's a part of who I am today. And now I'm grateful. I'm grateful for those difficult times because it brought me here.
Yeah. Dang, that is so heavy. And you mentioned leveling up, and then previously we mentioned momentum.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, obviously you're on the momentum, you're riding the wave. Do you feel like you've hit this level, or is there still another level
Oh,
that?
brother, there is more levels. There are more levels. I feel like I'm a baby still. I'm still climbing. There are so many more levels. I
That's
can't
good.
wait to see when I'm 90. What will I be doing?
Oh, I love that energy because I think that's how I am too. Like, I can't wait to just keep leveling up. I think a lot of people, like, there's just that atmosphere and that thought, at least maybe it's just me and my community and where I've been living. I don't hear people like talking like this, or that's why I started this podcast, to just talk to more like-minded people, because in the everyday world, you don't, at least I don't, I'm sure other people are like, oh, what are you talking about, man? I'm in South Florida where it's sunny all the time and people are happy. Like, well, I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me and the people, the environment that I'm currently in. I just don't, people aren't like that, open-minded to the fact that this is just where we're at today. Tomorrow is going to be better. The next day is going to be better than that.
Well, it sounds like you need to be that person in your community,
Yeah.
to just
Hey,
kind of amp
probably.
it up.
Yeah, seriously.
But also asking for people to come into your life to support you on that same energetic level, to share that, because you do need that. You need that,
Yeah.
because not everybody in my life is obviously as amped as I am. I'm pretty amped compared to, some people in my life. But I do connect with people, like my art friends, and that are just as crazy as me. And so it's good. And I'm blessed with some really close, like, best friends in my life that accept my craziness and can match it at times. But they can also bring me back down to earth too, which I need that too sometimes.
Yeah. Dang. And this is not about me. I was just wanting to share that. So the business now, the art is now a full-fledged business,
It is. It's a business.
and you figured out social media, and was
I'm
the process
figuring
of
it
figuring it
out.
out?
I'm figuring
Okay.
out social media. I am doing better with it. It's kind of funny because with my mentor, I'm in with 3 other women, and we're all over, like, in our 50s and over, and nobody knew social media at all. And so I'm seeing the fun in social media now. Like, it's a lot of fun to create content, and I understand what you're saying. Like, now when you're out and about, almost everything is content. And so then you are not in the moment because you're like, oh, I got to get this footage, or I got to get this B reel, or whatever. Be real. I'm saying
Hey,
be real.
she's even doing She's talking about language. She's saying be real.
Who am I?
Oh my God.
And so I do have to be careful, like, no, let it go. Like, some of the moments you just need to be in. And I can always creatively go back and create content around experiencing that moment. You know, I can talk about it and share it, but I don't have to have the actual video footage of it every time. So that's
Right.
what I'm kind of dealing with now, is like, where are my boundaries, and keeping my life still as real and as present as possible. But yeah, the business part is tough for me because it's all new. As a nurse, I never had to have a business. I just worked as a nurse. So business is new. It's difficult, but there's so much to learn. And I just take the bite that I can today. What can I do today to move the needle? What can I do today that will move the needle? And so that's kind of how I have to look at it, because it can become very overwhelming if I think like 6-month plan, year plan. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, what gallery do I need to be in, and what shows do I need to be in, and do I need to do a solo show? And so those things can get overwhelming if you think about it. But if you just think every day, like, what goal can I accomplish today to help me get there? And watch my mind movie, which reminds me, I need to make a new mind movie, and you need to make your
Yeah.
first mind movie.
I'm writing it down again right now. My movie.
And you'll be done. Like, it took me 3 hours to make my first 5-minute mind movie. It'll take you like 5 minutes.
No, that's great. And I'm curious about the business part, because obviously everybody these days, are interested in business and the financials. But it sounds like you're starting to understand it. You mentioned that you had an email list. You're building out an email list, a newsletter,
Yeah.
which that's like in my opinion, like a low hanging fruit that a lot of people don't even grasp the idea of owning your own audience.
Yes. Because I guess my mentor said, Cheri, Instagram could go away tonight.
Ding, ding, ding.
So then what do you have? She goes, if you have an email list, at least you have your people. I just don't know why it's so hard to grow an email list. It's so hard. I'm like, why don't you
I
want to give me your
know.
email? Just give me your email. But people
It
are
is
protective
tough.
of their emails, and they don't want to get a bunch of emails. I get it. But yeah, it's hard to grow that list.
Yeah. But I do, like you said, it's so, like, if all the social media apps are gone tomorrow, people are going to be
Yeah.
not understanding how are they going to reach their customer.
Yes.
So if you can get them on their email list, that's pretty much like everybody that signs up is raising their hands. Like, I like Cheri, I trust her, and I'm willing to, obviously in the business world, to buy from her
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah. 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 And I'm getting better at being bold and saying, hey, can I grab your email? I want to just add you to my email list. And people are like totally fine if I do it. Sometimes I think, because on your website that has the little pop-up that says, join my community, blah, blah. They don't do it. But if I'm like, I'll literally put it in for you. Just give me your email. They're like,
Yeah,
oh,
then they'll
sure.
do
We
it.
love that.
Right. What are some of the other areas in the business that you find challenging?
Okay, this goes with imposter syndrome, pricing. Yeah, that's been tough for me. Like, pricing, because I've been told that I'm underpriced for selling, so I raised my prices. And there's this balance, because as a creator, you don't ever want to decrease your prices, right? Because if I have collectors that bought at a certain price, they don't want to see me
Oh, wow.
putting things on sale because they bought at that price. And so it's worth that. And so I can only go up. I can only go up in respect to my collectors. So it's a fine balance of being competitive in the marketplace, being an emerging artist. I'm not thinking that I'm Basquiat, I'm not some big artist, but being competitive enough. And there's this whole thing that I'm learning about that, you could get a t-shirt from Target for like $10, or you can go to Nordstrom and get a t-shirt for $100. Like, which one are people going to want? And I'm learning that people want the $100 t-shirt for, because they feel like there's more value in it, even though it's white t-shirts. And so I'm trying to wrap my head around that. with my art. Like, okay, if it's underpriced, people are going to not going to see value in it. It's got to be just right, you know? And so that's a business thing. Because if it was up to me, if someone connected to my art, I'd be like, here, I want to give it to you. It's my present. You know, but that doesn't make money.
Yeah.
And
But that's interesting though, in the art space, keeping in mind of the people that have already bought previously, I didn't even cross my mind that that's something that you, an artist,
yeah.
would have to think about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's huge because, like, if I sign with a gallery, galleries take 50%. That's pretty normal. And so what they'll do is increase your prices, you know, for the gallery so that there can be more made for me and for them, right? Well, if they go up on their price for the pieces that are in their gallery, then all of my other pieces have to go up too. And so then I'm like, do I want to be in a gallery? Do I want to just stay independent? It's a lot. It's a lot. Because once I increase my prices, like if right now I'm selling a painting for $3,000 and a gallery wants it and they want it at $5,000, well, then all of my other paintings, because I go by price per square inch, it takes the emotion out of it. Then all of my paintings that size have to go to $5,000, which is harder to sell. Or is it? It might not be. Might be the sweet spot. So there's a lot of unknowns, and I'm just trying to learn, and I'm trying not to make mistakes along the way that I can't go back. Like increasing price, you can't really go back. Like you can't say, "Oh, never mind, I was just kidding." Go back to my part. But there's a lot. Like I said, there's just so many things to learn. Like, okay, if someone can't afford a $6,000 piece or $3,000 piece, whatever, okay, maybe I'll do fine art prints. And so they're a couple $100 and people can afford that. And they can do small because I do such big pieces. Some people don't have the space, you know, wall space for a big piece, but they love the art. So I'm like, okay, I need to get a fine art print so that they can make it whatever size they want and they can still have that art in their space. It's not the original, but it's a limited edition print.
And a fine art print that's not like you painting, it's just like a copy, like a photocopy of it?
Take it to these fine art printers and they can make it look almost like the paint, like they can put giclée there. It's amazing the printers that they have. The exact color match. It's pretty fantastic. So you can get a fine art print and you can sell that for a couple $100, but they get what they want and it's helping my business still because I own the rights to, even when I sell a painting, I own the digital rights, the image. So I can make prints if I want to. So see, these are all things I'm learning that I had no idea about. I had no idea. Like you can even license your work. I didn't know. Like, oh, you can put it on a scarf or you can put it on, you know, IKEA licenses things and Gap licenses things. Like all these companies licensing, Snapfish, they license things. So you can, you know, sell your images to them and then they can use it for coffee mugs. It's whatever they want.
Yeah, that's why it's so interesting to me too, because I'm not in this space, but I can only imagine there's so many different avenues of where you could go with the art that I guess somebody like me could get overwhelmed by like, shoot, do I go in a gallery? Do I do licensing? Do I do royalties?
That's
Fine
my
print?
life. That's my life. It's like, what do I do? But that goes back to calming down, getting centered into yourself and saying, what do I want? What do I want? Do I want my art on coffee mugs? I don't. I don't want my art on coffee mugs. Do I want my art in a gallery? Depends on the gallery. Do they get me? Do they get my messaging? I don't want to just be in any gallery. I want to be in a gallery that understands me as an artist. So then you can kind of create your own world with that. Like the answer doesn't have to be black and white, yes or no. It can be maybe, depends on the connection. And for me, that's everything. You know, everything is based on courage, creativity, connection. I always ask myself that. Courage, creativity. Does it take courage? Then that's probably what I need to be doing because I'm scared.
Yeah. Do you currently have some works in galleries? Are you in a gallery now?
I am not.
Have you ever?
No, because I keep going back and forth. Like, do I want that representation? So I'm working with my mentor right now on is that what I want? And maybe I haven't found the right gallery yet, because I have been talking to some galleries, and I just felt like they didn't have the pieces in there that matched my messaging and my vibe. And so maybe when I find the right gallery and I just am like, I have to be in this space, then something will happen there. But I thought all successful artists had to be represented by a gallery, but that's not the case anymore, especially with social media. You don't really need gallery representation, because honestly, they take 50%, you know. With social media, I can be my own marketing team. You know, I don't need a gallery to push my stuff out. I can do that. So I'm in a big learning curve right now. I'm learning all about marketing, and and podcasting. Honestly, this new thing. I just started being on podcasts like last month, and it's so much fun. Like, I love it. I love meeting people and talking and sharing my story. And so who knows? Who knows where that'll go? Who knows? So
Yeah, I think from an artist, just being a media person in the background, I think being an artist and getting your story out there on these different formats like podcasting, like letting people know like the you and your past and your history, there's no way that they don't get more attracted to the art itself. Even me just talking with you now, I was like, damn, I want to see what all of the rest of her art looks like. Because I know that it's coming from somewhere that's real inside of you.
Well, because I believe people don't buy art, they buy the artist. I think it's becoming more like that, because, people used to buy art because it was Monet, Renoir, Van Gogh, they used to buy the art, the name. But I think now, because of our world and because of how we're connected technologically, being able to get our stories out there, I think people want to buy the artist, the story. Because now that you know my story and you know me as a person, my art's a lot more interesting to you than if someone just showed you a piece of my art without knowing me. You'd be like, all right. But if you're like, no, I know Cheri, I've heard her story. Then when you look at my art, you're like, oh, I get it. She was raging that day.
Seriously though, like now, just honestly, like now I'm looking at your paintings and now I know a little bit more about you. I'm like, dang, some stuff must have been going on. Like that one in the back that has a lot of red at the top. Like she must have been seeing red that day, or that's wild. But it's so awesome that we can do this kind of stuff and it has meaning behind it.
Yes. Yes, for sure. For sure. And I mean, the whole world's out there. And like you said, we are not going to stop leveling up. We're just not.
Yeah.
It just gets more awesome and more awesome. And we're going to look back and be like, oh my gosh, I thought I totally plateaued right there, but nope.
You feel like that the same in your art and your creative too? Like if you're just looking around at your art now, is this, you personally speaking, is like, this is the best I can do? Or do you know it's like, it's just going to get better from here?
Oh my God, it's going to explode. I feel it. I feel it. Like there's such new, one thing that I shared with my mentor the other day was when I was in New York City. I went to the Guggenheim, amazing. I went to the Met, amazing. But my favorite museum were the streets of Brooklyn, because the graffiti was like the kids around me were saying, it's fire, it's fire. Like this graffiti's fire. I couldn't stop photographing it. I couldn't stop videoing it. I couldn't stop looking at the layers and the concrete coming through and the peeling. I was like, it is lighting me on fire. Like, what is happening? And the thing is all of the bottom layers of my paintings always start looking like graffiti. They always do. And I cover it up. I cover it up because I'm like, I am a suburban mom. I have no business saying I'm a graffiti artist. Like, but my mentor's like, Cheri, don't do that. For some reason, that's wanting to come through. And when you're looking at graffiti, if you get a reaction like that, looking at graffiti, that's your path. Don't try to explain it. Don't try to figure out, well, why graffiti? Maybe there's a little gangster in me. I don't know. I know I don't look like it, but maybe there is. Maybe I've got some edge to me.
That's so funny.
So that's my next thing. Is like, okay, I'm going to let some of those layers peek through because that's true for me. That's what lights me up. I don't know why. But I love it. Street art is just amazing to me because I think it's people's souls,
Yeah.
when they risk, they risk going out there and painting on
Yeah.
public
Going to
property and
jail.
private property. They got something to say. And I'm not saying I'm for vandalism, but I'm for the art. Like cities should have places where street artists can put their art. I believe that with all my heart. I mean, if I had a business, I had a big wall, I'd be like, y'all come and paint on it. Because it's almost like the heartbeat of the city is in graffiti. Like there's just this
Right.
vibration there that's so cool, so beautiful. So yeah,
So
that's
we're
what
gonna.
I need to look on. So that's me being real right now. Like I've been covering it up.
Yeah, let it pop through. I'm curious to see what it would look like too.
I need to.
And you're obviously a painter. Is that like, because when I hear painting, there's different kinds of paint. Like there's people that throw paint on the thing. There's people with the brush that do it, and then there's like people with two hands, and they're like doing this. And what does your style kind of look like?
Mine is throwing, throwing paint.
Okay.
I also love using different tools. I love using my bare hands a lot to paint on to canvases. I used palette knives a lot to blend.
What is that?
So it's kind of like I have a broken one here because I broke it, but it's like a little palette knife. And so you can spread paint using a little palette knife. I use brushes. I use anything. I'll take things out of the kitchen utensils and use it.
Oh wow.
Sometimes I'll collage. I'll find a piece of paper or a drawing or something that I love, and I'll just collage it right onto the painting. Sometimes I'll take a sander. I have an orbital sander back there, and I'll just sand away layers so that the previous layers can kind of peek through. So I use a lot of different tools and a lot of different mediums. But I feel like I need that toolbox to really express myself. Like, I don't think I could just do a paintbrush painting. Like, I don't think I could.
Right.
It would just feel
You
like
have too much energy for that.
I need more. So I use charcoal. I use oil pastels. I use everything. But it's very kinetic. Like my painting style is very kinetic. So when you see the painting, you're going to see that energy. Like when I'm throwing paint, when I'm scraping through it, it goes off the canvas. It's not neat. It's not neat and pretty.
Yeah.
It's very energetic.
Yeah. When I hear that, I hear two things. I hear it's authentic, it's who you are, and I hear fun. It sounds like you're having fun doing it.
It's fun. And it's very it's therapy. It's me being able to have all my feels go out onto something. And so my canvas is where it lands. And it's so good for us to have an outlet like that. Some people, it's working out, some people, it's other creative things. But for me, it lands on the canvas. And that's all. A lot of my paintings are dark right now because I think I'm going through some healing especially around my dad. So I noticed I've been using a lot of watery colors because my dad died in the water. So kind of like these watery grave type colors because I'm healing from that and the way my dad died. So I'm grateful to have the canvas to just kind of receive all that energy from me. And it takes it. It's never said no.
No, that's awesome. And so, because you do big pieces of art, like if somebody orders one, how do you get the art to their house? Like how this FedEx or whatever, UPS, they handle big art?
They do big art. If it gets above a certain size though, I would probably take it off of the stretcher bars and roll the canvas and send it in a tube. That would protect it a lot more, because I would get nervous sending a huge big pieces. So far have been local, so I've been able to deliver them, which has been nice. But if I was going to send a big piece to someone through the mail, it would definitely be rolled, and then they could have it stretched at the destination of where it's going, because that would make me nervous, sending it intact like that.
Do people like ask you for like custom art?
Mm-hmm.
What is like one of the
right now? That one's a commission. So my commission process is really different from most artists. I meet with them and I don't want to know anything except their story. I just want to hear their story. I want to hear, why do they want a piece from me? What speaks to them from my art? And then all I really want to know is the size and kind of the colors that they love. From there, I just go. There's no, I want this shape and I want it to look like that. There's none of that. It's just, I hear your story, I hear the size and the color, and then give me some time. And I work intuitively. I just work intuitively on it. And so far, 100% of the time, they love it. So it's a little nerve wracking because you're like, oh my God, what if they hate it? Which now I've done it enough to, now I'm like, all right, it's fine. If you hate it, that's fine. There's no like, well, I'm keeping your money. No, you'll get a refund. I'm like, come on. Or you can buy another piece from my collection. It's fine. Because commissions are hard. It's very personal. Very personal.
Right.
But I use a lot of symbolism in my art too. So they love to see some of the things they talk to me about, some of the parts of their story in the art, whether it's a word or a phrase or a number or, something. So it makes it very personal to them. And I have to trust that they came to me for a reason. They know what my art looks like. They know who I am. So they're wanting something specific to what I can offer. So that gives me a little confidence to be like, okay, I can do this, because every time I'm terrified.
Yeah. But I mean, if they come to you for commission, they obviously they learn it from you.
But that's where the imposter syndrome goes like, what the hell? They're wanting to pay you all this money for something that doesn't even exist yet. Like you haven't even painted it yet, and they're wanting to give you money.
Yeah, that's so funny.
I believe that my connection with them is the magic sauce. It's the connection, the conversation that we have. And sometimes I go to their space. Sometimes I meet their children, just so I can get a whole story and kind of see and let that inform what the painting is going to look like.
I have one really good question, but I apologize. I have to use the bathroom. Is that okay?
Of course.
I'm like, okay, I apologize. I've been trying to increase my water consumption because I just don't drink enough water, but they don't tell you when you try to drink, what is it, like 6 liters of water a day, that half the day is spent running in and out of the bathroom.
It's true.
It's so annoying.
But the longer you do the increased intake, your body starts to settle down with that. So keep it up. Keep it up.
I hope that's the case. Yeah. I was when I asked before I had to go, is there a piece of art that's like one piece of art that's like your favorite that you've created? Or that means the most, or it's like...
Yeah, it's sold. It's sold. But yes, it was called Scarred. She's on my website still, if you look up Scarred. It was a 48 by 60, so it was a big painting. And it started as just it looked very graffiti kind of in the background, just a lot of marks, a lot of words. And I think I was working on it one day and I was just angry and getting feelings out on the canvas. And I was using my palette knife to spread the paint and it ripped the canvas. The palette knife ripped. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I put it to the side and I just left it. And I thought, I can't sell this. It will never get sold. There's a rip in the canvas. So I took it out to the garbage and I was just about to shove it into the garbage can. And something in me said, stop. And I just stopped and I was like, why am I stopping? And the thought came to me, you were broken too and God didn't throw you away. And I lost it. I lost it. And so I brought it back inside and I just let it sit for, I don't know, a few weeks, a couple months. And I went back to it one day and I looked at it and I could see the form of a woman's face. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I sketched out her face in the way that I was seeing the form. So it was a huge woman's face with her eyes closed. And the scar, the slash was right here on her face. And so my nursing background, I sutured it with red yarn right here on her face.
Like the actual canvas you did?
Yeah. I mended it with red. You'll have to see it on my website. It's called Scarred.
Yeah.
And she won awards. Like, it was so honest. Like, that piece was so honest. And the story I love is that, you know, the whole story about me wanting to throw it away and then being reminded that God uses broken things all the time.
Oh.
And so when that piece sold, it sold to a very, very special person. She was actually the attorney that represented me in the litigation for the car accident. And she just was like, I have to have that piece, Cheri, because I saw you on your whole journey, you know, from that brokenness when I showed up in her office to now. And she's like, I have to have it to remind me every day that, you know, healing is happening all the time and that we have our scars. We all have our scars. And so that's kind of my hero piece. Like, I love that. And, you know, people ask me all the time, like, how could you sell it? Like, that was your heart and soul. Like, how can you sell it? I said, because the art isn't meant to stay with me. The art has its job to do out in the world. It has its work to be done. And if I hoarded all the art, it's for nothing. It's not meant to stay with me. These are very special. Every piece I create is very special to me, but I believe it has its work to do out in the world. And so it's not hard for me to let them go, because it's like raising children. You put them out in the world in the hope that they do good things.
Spoken like a true artist, too.
And a mom.
Yeah. And what year was that painting created in?
Gosh, I want to say 2023, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to look back. I think it was around then. And I think it was before my dad died. I think it was, yeah. It sat around for a while. So it was like, I might have started it in 2022 because it sat around for a while and I just didn't really touch it. And then I got inspiration to go back into it. So,
is there a piece of art that you made that you are not selling, that you're not going to get rid of, that it's for you or for your family?
It's one piece. There was one piece that I am not selling, but I am gifting it to our priest because he just walked with me through everything. But it was a piece that 2 days after my dad died, I was obviously I was a wreck. And everyone started flying in for the funeral from Korea, from New York City. Like, people were flying in from all over. And I was pretty much handling it all and managing the funeral plans. And I just needed time to hide. And so I told my husband and my sons, I said, guys, I just need a few hours in my studio with the door closed, and nobody can come in. Like, I just need some time. They're like, absolutely. So they shut the doors, they guarded, like, they made sure nobody came in. And I took a big canvas and I just threw so much paint at it, and so much anger. I mean, when I look at that painting, I'm like, oh my gosh, you see the swirls and the gouges. And I was in there a couple hours, and then I stepped back and I looked at the canvas and I saw a sea lion. I don't draw animals. I am not an animal drawer. I don't draw anything really. But I saw the outline of a sea lion. And if you look it up on my website, it's called Ocean of Tears. And it's an abstract figurative of a sea lion. And that entire painting from beginning to end only took 3 hours. Like, I was just in the flow because I was so grieved and I just needed to have no distractions, just me and my canvas. And so that one is very, very special to me. But it's still in our home because our priest is like, I don't have a wall big enough. But when they buy a home, it will go with them because I do want them to have it, and they're just precious to us. So yeah.
Man, that's beautiful. This whole episode has been really great. I appreciate your time. What time? How we got? An hour and 54 minutes, and
Are you kidding me?
it doesn't even feel like we're almost at 2 hours. And I look at the clock, I'm like, oh my, I guess this is the imposter syndrome. Like, I can't believe a professional artist is taking time I'm taking 2 hours out of her day to just sit and talk. So I always like,
I wish you could see what the rest of us see in you. You're a special guy. And yes, you are worthy. You are worthy of it all.
They're 2 hours of your day. Dang, the time flies though, especially
it really
like
does.
when you're
it's because we're in flow.
You
know, when you're creating and you're in flow, 6 hours could go by and you're like, oh, I didn't even eat or anything. And so we're just in a flow. We're in a flow of conversation. I really enjoyed it. I've loved it.
I do too. I appreciate it. And because I am going to look up these two paintings, Oceans of Tears and Scared.
Scarred. Yeah, like on her, on her face. Yeah.
And those are on your website. Can you, what is your website just for the people listening? I'm going to try to put the images on the screen when you mention it, but for them to go check it out.
It's carandanisfineart.com.
That sounds good. And your social media handles are the same, I imagine?
At Carandanis Fine Art. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out. And just stay up to date and keep following you. Because now that, like you said, these podcasts open you up and you can hear a little about your story. And just me and whoever's going to be listening, I feel like now that we know a little bit about you, it's like, I want to see what she's creating and see what she's feeling during these moments.
And now knowing that we're friends, you can DM me and say, hey, here's some advice on your social media. And I will not be offended. I'll be like, thank you, Noah.
No, I totally would be up for that because I love helping people out. And especially in the art space, there's so many, like, I would say, like, low-hanging fruit to create content about your creating process. Like, just a simple time-lapse video of you throwing art at the paint. People love watching that stuff. And you probably know that and do that now.
People say that, and I'm like, you want a time-lapse video of me painting? Like, you want to watch me paint? They're like, yes. I'm like, why? I always think they just want to see the product. But people, I mean, I love watching painters, but that's because I'm an artist. But everyone loves watching the process. Like, I didn't know that. That's something I learned.
It's like one of those oddly satisfying videos of like just seeing nothing and all of a sudden it's just slowly coming together and then boom.
Yeah. So I am trying to do more of the process videos because I think people do like those.
They do. And even, just the way my brain, I'm getting so many ideas and I won't eat up more of our time going this, but I will, if I see something, I was like, dang, that was really good, but try to do that. Even like you having a painting and telling like your story and the reason why you made this piece, I think would really resonate with, and I haven't checked it out. So you're probably doing all these things already.
No, because like I just learned about voiceovers. Like you're like, seriously, that's like so basic.
No.
I have never done a voiceover. And I was like, oh, that would be good because I could be showing the thing and then talking about it. I don't have to be on camera all the time. I could just talk about it. So yeah, I'm learning.
That'd be perfect. Yeah, a time lapse of you doing it with the voiceover of where this is coming from.
Yeah.
That'd be powerful.
I need to do more of that. So thank you, Noah.
Yeah, I know it's time consuming and you got the painting and then the social media and the business.
It's what we got to do. It's part of it.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
All right. Before we leave, there's one question that I've been asking everybody before we get out of here, just because I'm curious about it for my own personal self. I mentioned that you were well-spoken and very, in my opinion, you're very smart. How do you continue your learning process and continually self-growth? Is that something you practice on? Do you read books, podcasts, webinars, or how do you continue to expand your knowledge?
I do read books, podcasts. I don't do anything unless, like, if I'm cleaning the house, I'm listening to a podcast. If I'm out for a walk, I'm listening to a podcast. So I'm always trying to learn from people that I feel like are a step ahead of me, or more steps ahead
Mhm.
of me, that I admire. I also, I think my nursing background, just with research, like, just I'm always curious about things. And so I think keeping my curiosity forefront, always asking why or what
Mm,
or how. I think that is also, but like we said, I always try to be ready as a student, because I don't know what I don't know. So I don't even know
mhm.
what I need to know. So I just try to keep myself in a place that's open. Like, okay, what do I need to know next? And life will bring it to me every time. Like when I feel like I'm not really working on anything right now as far as growth, it'll come. It just comes. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I didn't know about that. I need to work on that. Because it's not always just about business or art. Sometimes it's, personal development. It's about how can I be more of a compassionate listener? How can I have more
Mhm.
emotional intelligence in my life? How can I be nicer to my husband?
Yeah, that's true.
So there's always things to learn. And I do believe that I want to forever be a student. Like even when I'm teaching someone something, I want to be a student. Because
Mm.
in that interaction of me teaching someone, I'm learning. So I think it's just staying open always, and being curious about the world. That curiosity is what will bring those learning opportunities for me. But man, I don't know what I did before podcasts, honestly. Like I listen
Right.
to them all the time. There's so much stuff there to learn.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And this has been great. Again, I could sit here. I'm very curious. There's so many things that we didn't even get into that now it's coming to my head. Like I'm so curious about. But again, we've been going on 2 hours. Maybe we can revisit this later in the future.
Love it.
1,000 paintings gone, more paintings on the
Yes,
way.
yes, and I'm showing in Italy and London and Tokyo.
Yeah. That is awesome. See, and this case come to my head because I am naturally curious. Is there like a certain gallery or location that you would love for your art to be in? Like, have you already found that out?
I don't think so yet. I haven't found,
Okay.
like, I would love to show internationally. Like I imagine myself traveling internationally to exhibit my art. And honestly, could be anywhere in the world. I'd be so happy. But that is something it was in my mind movie, my first mind
I
movie.
was about to say, put it in your mind movie.
Yeah, it was in there. So I'm going to keep that in there, because travel is so, you like to travel too. So it's just,
Yeah,
it's so good for our souls to travel.
that's awesome. I'll definitely keep an eye out. And if you make that mind movie, obviously, I do believe that it's going to happen. And I'm going to watch it on Instagram one day and I'll be like, oh my God, she is in Italy showing her art right now.
See?
She did it.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm a huge fan. I'm rooting for you. And I'm going to go to the website, check out the website. I
Thanks.
will also plug it in the description so people can go and check out these
I
pieces of
appreciate
art
that. I appreciate
from you. And again, thank you so much for spending the time with me. It wasn't just like a conversation, but it was like, you're really insightful and has some good, I mean, obviously from your past life experiences that you've taken away, it's just been really, really great to listen to. So I appreciate it.
It was a blessing for me too. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we will do it again in the future. Once I get a little bit more traction, maybe get some more audience and some potential buyers listening, we're
Yeah,
gonna definitely bring you back on and see
love it.
where the art it's like art. It's gonna continue to get better. So I'm looking
Absolutely.
at this right now behind you. Who knows, in 6 months from now, it's
It's going to be graffiti. I'm going to have my do-rag on. I'm going to be like a totally different person.
yeah, Cheri spotted in central Philadelphia graffitiing, vandalism.
Who knows? Who knows? I'm
Who
for it.
knows?
I'm here for it.
Absolutely. Well, keep going, girl. And I thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, Noah.
As much as I love doing these podcasts virtually, I much rather sit down and talk to somebody one-on-one in person. I can look at them, I can feel the energy that they're giving off, and it's just a better vibe. So if you know anybody that would be interested or that would be a good guest for the podcast show, please get us in contact, put us together, or just relay them my information. I would love to sit down and talk to them. And with that, I will continue to do my best to improve my podcasting skills and my interviewing skills to one day bring on bigger guests that you would love to see me collab with.